Are you afraid of failing, or are you just lazy and oversensitive? Coming up in this video, my thoughts about the differences between those and something that you can do to check your mindset so that you can take the steps that you know you need to take so that you can live a better life. What's up, legend? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, where I help geeks, gamers, and creatives to have more confidence and motivation to regain control over their lives, because life can kind of get in the way sometimes, yeah? Like we'll have this epic goal and this epic quest in our minds, and then we're stuck in the town tending the farm and trying to keep the pig from eating our vegetables, and then the bandits run in every once in a while, and the kobolds and the goblins, and we just kind of get lost in all this stuff. And then we can start overthinking and try to figure out, well, what is the issue here? Most of the time, I'm going to be straight up honest with you right now. Most of the time it's because we're not taking enough action. We're not doing stuff that we know we need to do, but then we distract ourselves with other things. So I feel both fear of failure and oversensitivity comes from this feeling that, you know, when something happens, I'm not going to be able to withstand that. I'm not going to be able to cope. It's going to be too much for me. And that comes from not having a robust enough identity. Like your identity statement. Who are you? What kind of person are you? What are you capable of? What are the things that you will or will not do in a situation? Your values, the principles that you live by. Those things really create a foundation of who you are so that you can calibrate your actions with what's going on outside of yourself. You know, you need to have this deep inner understanding of who you are. So a lot of times when we do have an issue, something, you know, we fail at something, or we have a complicated success, you know, it's not as good as we had hoped, then we start to take in these mindsets, and we start to go through this loop of overthinking, and what the real issue is part of us believes that that's true. Because we have a little bit of doubt within ourselves, then that flood of you're not good enough, you're not going to be able to accomplish this comes in, and there's like an oversensitivity and fear of failure because of that. Does that make sense? So if you did not worry about any of that stuff, if you were like, I know I'm a good person, I'm capable, I can succeed, I bring good to the world, or whatever it is, then when you fail, you wouldn't think, am I not good enough, right? You wouldn't have this oversensitivity because it's not true within your paradigm of the world. And so because a lot of us do have these little holes, these little, you know, holes in the walls where the goblins and monsters run in and stuff like that, we let that stuff come in. And so we're afraid of failing because it's going to shine a light on the big opening of our identity and those issues that we have not actually dealt with. And so we'll talk a little bit about that later on, how to fix that, or how to get a better approach to that. I can't really fully fix it in 10 minutes, you know, but to kind of shed some more awareness of that and take better steps and actions towards that. So if you have a robust enough identity, then you're not going to fear failure, because you'll just see it as feedback, and it's okay. It's just a thing that happened. I need to adjust my approach. Good. Thank you. You know, you'll welcome those trials and struggles, because you know through that is how you triumph and how you learn and gain new skills and experience and talent. And with laziness, it's usually down to the goal is not motivating enough for you. It's just, it might be too big in some ways, right? Like, I just don't know how to structurally do this thing because there are so many moving parts, which is something that I run into a lot. But Actual laziness is more of like, I'm just not motivated to do it. I'm not inspired to do it. And I feel that I need to be inspired in order to succeed, or in order to use my energy to get up off the computer chair, close down League of Legends or whatever it is, and actually do something that's going to lead to a more beneficial future. And so if the goal is not moving enough for you, it's not singing to you, it's not, being your muse, then you need to attach some more powerful emotions to it, right? Like if Tony Robbins has this thing about like, if I pull a gun and put it to your family's head and say, you got to do the thing, and you do it, that was a motivational issue. It's not because you were incapable of doing it or didn't know how to do it. It's because you just didn't have the motivation to do it. And so if you make your quests in your mind, at least, bigger and more impactful and more powerful, more compelling, then you're going to build up that drive, that willpower, that conviction to achieve those goals that you want. And most of the times, I know from my experience and a lot of my clients' experiences too, like we don't really like attach our whole life and our strengths, our emotions, our desire for more creativity and freedom and things like that to our goals. We just say, yeah, it would be nice to do that. I got these books I want to read, but I want to do some art. I want to write poetry. I want to play music. But, right? And we just kind of leave it at that. But we don't really attach like, hey, if I don't do this, I'm not going to impact somebody's life who needs it. And if I continue to be lazy and not take actions that are proactive, then my life is going to turn out completely crappy, because I never actually did the stuff that I wanted to do. So now I want to give you some questions and a little activity that you can do to kind of get your mindset right around these two dimensions, these two things, right? The fear of failure plus oversensitivity and laziness. So first up, one thing is to write out your goals. A health goal, a wealth goal, a relationship goal. Write out the goal and get as clear as possible. Write all the things that are going to be impacted by that. What are the things in the environment? What actions are you going to be taking? What skills do you need to learn to achieve that goal? What kind of beliefs do you need to have about yourself and about the world? And who do you have to become in order to succeed in doing that? Okay, write out the goal with as much clarity, visual clarity, like what are you going to see? Auditory clarity, the things that you'll hear, your own thoughts included, and kinesthetic, like the feelings. What kind of feelings, sensations will you have when you succeed? Like it's already happening right now. I wake up, I'm doing this, I'm seeing this, I'm feeling this. This is where I'm living, this is who I'm with. Get really fine detailed with that goal. And the reason for doing that is because your mind needs to have a pin in the map for the location, the place that you want to go. You need to have like the quest giver tell you the actual things, like collect 12 boar hides and 3 tusks and deliver it to Mrs. May, like whatever it is, right? You need to have like the steps and the finished goal, and you have to have it all clearly laid out so that you know how to approach it, and your mind will start working with you in order to create alignment in your actions and those type of things. But if you don't actually clearly state it, then how will you know when you get there? Next up, let's talk about the Cartesian questions. This is just a nice way of kind of reshaping your mindset and asking you better questions, because the quality and the caliber of your questions will lead to more progress in your life. So it goes do, don't, or will, won't. Do, don't, will, won't. So positive, negative, positive, negative. So ask yourself, what happens if you do succeed? Write it down. What happens if you don't succeed? Write it down. What doesn't happen if you do succeed? That's a pretty big one. And what doesn't happen if you don't succeed? That one just always blows my mind. What doesn't happen if you don't succeed? Sometimes it just clicks and you're like, oh my God. That's exactly it. That's why. That's what I'm hesitating about. That's the inner game stuff that I haven't been paying attention to. And I really just need to push myself to achieve more. And the last one, what happens if you let fear of failure, oversensitivity, or laziness determine the rest of your life? Really ponder that. What happens if you let fear of failure, oversensitivity, or laziness determine the rest of your life? Look back on your life from at the end, from after it's over perhaps, and think like, was this fear of failure, was this oversensitivity, was this laziness worth it? Was it worth letting it control the rest of my life and all the things that I could and did not bring to the world? If you want another video like this, check it out over here. And if you're interested in personal one-on-one coaching, click the link down below in the description, schedule a strategy session, and we will work together to see if we're a good fit for coaching, and we can help you with bringing in more confidence, aligning your life with your purpose and your personality type, and having motivation to achieve the goals that you want and regain control over your life. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.